With great sense of delight and pleasure, we welcome you to another edition of your news and current affairs program, Politics Today, that comes live simultaneously on independent television and radio at this time. As you know, we deepen knowledge about what happens in the polity and for the purpose of bringing respite in the direction of the citizenry in order for us to have good governance and all factors that seem to be militating against having good governance, how to proffer solutions to the bedeviling problems of Nigeria. And of course, I have distinguished analysts to always analyze this every opportunity we have to be on set on this very beautiful weekend. My name is Philip Omo Gupon, and as you know, in the course of the program, we always give you the opportunity to also call in via the number that we will be giving you or writing on the screen, which will also be verbalized for our listeners on independent radio. And it's always expected that we are civil in our presentation. You will be heard if you are civil, but if you are not, you deny yourself the opportunity and the benefit, of giving others a leverage to act upon in terms of bringing lasting solutions to the problems that Nigeria is bedeviled with. And looking at this, we're gonna also be taking our time to look at the various factors, most especially as the president just assumed office. And so the topic is on the 1 month in office of President Tinubu, looking at the policies that he has brought on board in just this short period of time. Well, some will say a month is not enough to appraise the policies of the government under President Tinubu. But we'll look at the conventional inaugural speech that the president turned into a policy statement. And of course, even on assumption of office, the petrol subsidy that was suspended, that a lot said, well, that also tackled the corrupt system of the oil subsidies. And of course, on one hand, he did that blow. And also on the other, he also did a blow when he made the multiple exchange rates of the naira harmonized. And again, he also went on to announce a signing of 4 executive orders that brought about the suspension of 5% excise tax on telecommunication services and, of course, locally made vehicles. A lot more that he came with, which we really need to look at. And hitting the ground running on the discussion proper, starting from my immediate left, I have a reverend and a legal practitioner, and in the person of Greg Iyayi. Thanks for coming, Greg.
Good morning, viewers.
And next to Greg Iyayi is the convener of the Concerned Edo Citizens Forum, a public affairs analyst, Roy Oribabo. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
And next is a political scientist, lecturer at University of Benin, Neville Obakedo. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me. Good afternoon, good morning, viewers and listeners at home.
Okay, let's quickly start with our first guest we announced just now, talking about Reverend Barrister Greg Iyayi. We're looking at these policies announced by the president, and of course, his inaugural speech turned into a policy statement by the major economic policies, 2 major economic policies that he came with. What do you make of this in terms of appraising the policies so far and how they depict, a better government for the people?
Pronouncements of presidents or leaders have never actually been the problem. And then what they tell us to do, what they outline to I always find on paper and also in words. But my own concern is, how do these things translate to reality to actually benefit the people that are targeted in this speech? So I'm a little bit worried about, and I don't care too much about the words of leaders when they are being sworn into office. They will tell us a lot of things, and we have had a lot of things. On paper, it will be okay, very articulate, very people-oriented, supposedly. But the reality on ground, how it will affect the people, there has to be a nexus between what is said and what we see. What we have seen so far, I don't know whether it gives any Nigerian reason for hope. What we have seen, a very, very serious increment in fuel price, and we know how that is impacting on everything and on everyone. Then we have also seen increment in the school fees of people in government institutions. We know how that is impacting on us. And then there are speculations, which BEDC has not denied, that there's going to be an increment in tariff up to 40%. We know how that will impact on everybody, the social sector, the economic sector, and all that. So these are the things I'm really concerned about. Because when you are talking of policies, you are talking of things that directly affect the lives of the people. Food, security, electricity, education, and Medicare. So these are the things I would like us to measure the president with.
Thanks for your articulation. Well, let's look at your reaction over that, Roy. Now, we understand even when the president said that there must be sacrifices, made in order for us to get to the position where, we expect to. Now, looking at it, that it's not just going to be a smooth ride, for us to get off the doldrums economically that we've been faced with, and the so much challenge of the petrol subsidy, that a lot of persons saw as scam, that came out in different shades. Don't you have a different narrative as for what Barrister Greg said, looking at the hope that there's going to be light at the end of the tunnel?
Well, thank you, my brother. As the subject collate, looking at the 1 month in office of the present administration, to me, there's something to show for 1 month of president, as far as I'm concerned. There is something to show positively. There's no deliberate effort for him to refocus our economy, to redirect our economy, as far as I'm concerned.
Are you saying that the petrol subsidy removal is not a good start, a healthy start towards having an economic revamp?
I don't want to dwell on the removal of subsidy. I remember 2 weeks ago, it was a topic that we also we dwell on that, deeply. Therefore, I don't want to labor myself over subsidy removal.
Okay, what about the aspect of the multiple exchange rates that were harmonized, that the Lord have said that it brought about a removal of distortions in the foreign exchange management? Are you not aware of that? Don't you think that will go a long way to help the economy in terms of the fiscal policies?
The removal of the petroleum subsidy was doing, the foundation was built on an error. And anything you build on an error, you will never get results. We have discussed that. But I'm very, very bothered. If we are to x-ray his performance under 1 month, as you talked about, there is nothing really an average Nigerian should celebrate. Because one, this policy you are talking about, you look at the reflection of the life of the people. In my elementary economy, I don't need to be bothered myself by the paperwork, the graphic you draw on the board. I'm interested in how are the people in Iguayame, how are they enjoying themselves in terms of the policy? My people in Okodua, how are they responding to the policy from the government? How my brothers and sisters in Igwebe, how are they responding to the policy and program of the government? That is how I read the economy. When people are not living well, they are not doing well, they are not eating well, you are telling me that I have issued an executive order. As how? These are some of the things we have to critically evaluate. To me, the 1 month of Mr. President, as well as I have submitted, that is shopping for loyalty. He's just looking for people who will be loyal to him, as far as I'm concerned. I've not seen him on a deliberate policy to refocus Nigeria so that Nigeria will work. You saw what have happened, and you ask yourself, a situation where you have to go and arrest a former CBN governor and using a charter flight to move it from Lagos to Abuja on taxpayers' resources. As if that was not enough, you bounce on the EFCC chairman, and since then, we have not been told the offense committed. Now people are now beginning to believe to even serve in the government is not an offense in Nigeria. Is that the kind of policy you are rating to me? That's the reason why I believe that the 1 month performance of the present administration, there's nothing to show for it. I stand by it, and I start to be corrected. If there is anything, I need people to also tell me. Okay. Because one, you talked about the removal of subsidy was doing error. We have discussed that severally, and I will continue to. Do you know what happened to Nigeria economy immediately? That subsidy was removed. we believe, some of us, we subscribe to the removal of solid. This is a policy that had to be very gradual, not a drastic. The way and manner the president even announced it in a civilized crime, I think those citizens will take that. That you are doing inauguration, you are telling us that some citizens don't. Look at the manner, look at the position it was even announced.
Okay.
That's enough for you and I to even know that there is no future in terms of you want to remain Nigeria. There's no future. The policy direction of the present administration, nothing to show for it. When we expect the first 1 month of the present administration, he's supposed to keep the ground running. He's supposed to assemble his team, who will work with him deeply to rescue us from where we find ourselves. Because he's taking over from the same party. When we expect naturally that things are supposed to flow and all. But what are we seeing? Now we are now resorting to executive order. That was how we were deceived 8 years ago. That we now formulated policy of body language. Now we are not talking about the executive. Tell us what we are doing for Nigeria. Let Nigeria feel the impact of you there under 1 month. What does it take for the president to have assembled his cabinet by now? So that we will know, those who are managing the economy, we will know that if we want to ask fundamental issues, we should be able to ask it.
Okay.
Those who are managing the education, we will be there to
at the opening of this program, I did say that he also did a lot in terms of, like you mentioned, to corroborate what I said, signing of the 4 executive orders. Also came with suspension of the 5% excise tax on telecommunication services, and of course, locally manufactured vehicles. Don't you think this will give a head start for investors to come into the country and invest?
I am the voice of the commoner. I am bothered what is happening to the commoner, the masses. That is my interest. All these policy executives, these are bourgeoistic policy that have no bearing in the life of Osamu Diabe, who is on the street, have no bearing in the life of Rural River Boys on the street. These are the issue. When you are talking about executive that you are removing, how does that? Because we are already in pain in this country. We are in pain. The economy has since collapsed. Nigeria is the headquarters of poverty. We are aware of all this. Why we naturally expect the president administration to hit the ground?
Okay.
And that is what happened.
Let's take the question to the world of the academia. Now, we've seen situations where even before the president, took office, he was working towards ensuring that the announcement of loan facility given to students, come to reality. Now, would you say that is a welcome development? 1 month in office of the president. I'm also taking a leaf from what Roy Olivabo said, that the suspension of the 5% increase in the excise tax for locally manufactured vehicles, and of course in telecommunication services, will not in the long run rub positively on the consumers and of course the masses of the people?
Well, my initial reaction to the government of President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, popularly referred to as Ashiwaju and Jagaban, is that it is a government of the progressives, a government that is expected to be built on social justice and the welfare of the people.
Yes.
And so, before the government came into being, despite all the issue of legitimacy crisis that is bordering on the emergence of the government, one expects, like you have progressive governments in America that are based on social justice and social democracy, like the government of Barack Hussein Obama of the United States. Obama, before he became president, during his electionary campaign, he had 99 advisors. These were advisors that were telling him of what should be the policy thrust of his administration when he emerges as president. And this advisor translated to his presidential advisors like an in-house cabinet outside of the main cabinet, who were directing him, most of them experts in those various fields, on how he should rescue the American state from economic recession and the crisis that the banking sector was facing in America. And he was able to stabilize the country when he actually became president. I do not want to go back to the crisis of the emergence of Tinubu and this predecessor on his choice of whether it should be Tinubu that will represent that should take over matter of leadership after him and the rest. And this is information that is in public domain. Now, I remember in 2012, when the government of former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan came up with the issue of subsidy removal. I know the reaction and the counter reaction and the protest that even led to the death of some persons in the Lagos area. And I expected that, despite the policy statement and actions of the government of President Muhammadu Buhari, when Tinubu becomes president, and there was a time frame, the period that he was announced as president-elect, and the period that he was sworn in as president, to muster the courage to say, okay, policies that have been taken, policy decisions that have been taken by my predecessor, let me see how I can review them before I will make a statement. I will take action on them. For example, the issue of the subsidy. I hear, for instance, that, and this is also in public domain, that there are cabals who have been using subsidy to defraud the nation. And I hear even president, like former president Ebele Jonathan, former president Muhammadu Buhari, they will say that these cabals are very powerful. The most powerful person in Nigeria is the president and commander-in-chief. He's the most powerful person. He's the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. He's also the commander-in-chief, if there's something like that, of the police, of the immigration, and of the custom. And all these institutions of government, their top echelon and members of the political class, they are those that are involved in this fuel subsidy palaver. No one of them have been brought to book. It means that the state, the Nigerian state that is presided over by Jonathan, then by Buhari, and now by Tinubu, is a state that has been hijacked by powerful persons. And it is who they want that will become president.
You can't say that of the current president, because we just had 1 month in office. Now, you are a scientist, and you will agree that even 1 month is not enough to appraise the policies, but we are just giving it a head start.
I tell you the truth, that President Asiwaju Tinubu Ahmed Jagaban has been nursing the idea of becoming president for a very long time. Just like his close brother and friend and ally, late MK Abiola. He knows the ambition of becoming a president in his lifetime. The same thing with Tinubu, and the information is in the public domain. Now, if I know the ambition of becoming a president, or becoming a president of Nigeria, or becoming the governor of Edo State, my home state, I should travel across Edo State and find out the problems of the various communities in all the local governments in Edo State.
And even if you do, will you in 1 month materialize?
No, we are coming
problem?
to the issue of 1 month. We are talking about decisions that have lasting impact beyond the administration of Tinubu. That issue of the subsidy. That's why I'm taking pain and time to talk about the subsidy and how people who have been responsible for using subsidy to defraud the nation, and they are rich both inside and outside the country, and they are moving freely, and the president is making a statement on his inauguration day that subsidy is gone forever. If subsidy is gone forever, the money that people have taken from subsidy, and the money is still with them, and we are seeing the money, and the money, some of them use the money, they launder the money outside the country. How do you reinvent the state to ensure that those persons are punished? That even if you are taking the subsidy from petroleum, and you are taking it to agriculture, you are taking it to education, you are taking it to transportation, these same people will not rear their ugly heads and still use and still hijack the instrumentality of the state. I believe that's an agenda you are setting for the administration of President Tinubu. Yes, I hope. Otherwise, if you want to appraise it the way we should objectively, you will agree that the corrupt system in the oil subsidy has been eradicated by the announcement of that policy statement that petrol subsidy is gone. You don't understand what I'm saying. I want you to understand me. What I'm saying is this. The prosecution of those who have been caught napping in terms of the corrupt practices. We have a legal practitioner here. An offense that will be committed against the state. Time does not run against the state to punish for that offense. Of course, yes. So people have defrauded the nation, and Nigerians are suffering. Let's look at this issue of subsidy critically, for instance. The removal of subsidy is having direct impact on goods and services and their delivery to the people. If the president is making a statement to say, I feel your pain, the president cannot feel your pain. No. That is a lie. For him to say, I feel your pain. How will you be feeling the pain of the man on the street? A man that is on rentage. As soon as they are removing a subsidy, the landlord is waiting to increase house rent. The market woman on the street is waiting to increase the price of her goods and services. And then the transporter is waiting to increase transport. Where you have been paying 100 naira, they will tell you to pay 200. The other day I was coming from Tezami Road to St. Patrick's. I moved from St. Patrick's to Tezami Road. I paid 250 naira. When I got to the Tezami Road to return back to the same St. Patrick's where I parked my vehicle, all those bus drivers there, they are saying, Oluku, anywhere you stop is 500.
Obviously, inflation rate has increased.
And they are going to collect the money at that park before the vehicle takes off. Yeah. So if you are stopping at Tezami Junction, or you are stopping at Solution, or you are stopping at Anigboro, you are going to pay 500.
It was expected, and basically what you are trying to also say is that there should have been a proactive act from the government, in cushioning the effect of the petrol subsidy.
Why I made reference to Barack Obama is that a man who has been nursing the ambition of becoming president, like Obama, if you listen to Obama's speeches before he was elected president, he will tell you that he was motivated by the lives of Martin Luther King, motivated by the lives of Nelson Mandela, great men, Abraham Lincoln, and so on. Now, a man has become president. Your predecessor in office, who did not want you to be president, has said that I've removed subsidy, that subsidy payment is going to end before you become president. And now you just made a statement, subsidy is gone forever. Why can't you make a statement to say, we are going to look at this issue of subsidy removal?
Why making proactive steps to push the effect of the removal?
And ensure that the stakeholders in the value chain of a utility of fuel, they are going to be carried along on how to cushion the effect of subsidy when it is finally removed. It's not a question of removing subsidy and then you not call on a chairman of a national economic, that is the vice president. Yes. You say you are going to now sit with people, stakeholders, on how to begin to look for palliatives for the people.
Okay.
What is the suffering that the people have suffered before you come with the palliative? Who is going to bear the cost of that suffering?
Okay.
Now talking about, let me tell you, I also tell you the truth that 1 month is not enough to assess an administration of 4 years. But again, it is enough to understand the direction that the government will go for 4 years.
Looking at the policies.
Yes. So that is on one part, issue of subsidy. We are talking about student loan. It was a bill that was pending for Buhari's asset before he left office. Why did Buhari not accede to the bill? There were other several bills that Buhari hurriedly acceded to before leaving office. He also hurriedly constituted committees that would have been left for the president-elect to constitute. Now, why did he not tackle it?
I think it has to do with areas of interest.
No, it's not a matter of area of interest. When you talk about area of interest, in every government, including TINUBU'S government, there are persons who have been given the opportunity to be close to the president. They create a maximum wall around the president that other people have ideas that they may have known the president, but because they know their worth and they know if they are of opportunity of getting close to the president may sideline them and pick those people to be part of the inner caucus of the president. They won't allow them to get to the president. Now, that bill, I've listened to some northern elders who have said that student loan bill and the increment of school fees of a tertiary institution, government tertiary institution, is targeted the north. So if you talk about interest, it may be people advise Buhari that if this thing is passed into law, it's going to target the majority of the people from the north.
As beneficiaries, you mean?
Yes. Now, if that is the case, and Buhari, Tinubu is now president, it should take time to look at the bill. He can resend the bill to the current assembly for amendment instead of just taking the bill, a bill I did not know anything about. He did not know anything about it. He just signed the bill. That is on one part.
Well, I think that's an opinion generated as per targeting the North as beneficiaries. Because if we are to look at the act, if we are to look at the act, you still have the floor. Yeah. If we are to look at the act, it was spelled out that issues concerning religious sentiments, regional sentiments, tribe, will not be accepted as regards the implementation of that policy.
When you talk about issue of religious sentiment, tribe, that is not the issue. Nigeria is divided into 6 geopolitical zones. The north, 3 geopolitical zones. The south, 3 geopolitical zones. So if the northern elite, either the auspices of their political elite or their traditional elite or religious elite, if they look at a policy of government and they say this policy of government is going to affect our region, when they say our region, that is the 3 geopolitical zones in the north. That one does not talk about religion. He's talking about the people, because every policy of government has a target audience. And it is the people, the students that are targeted. And you don't even have statistics of those who are indigent. You don't have statistics of those who are poor. And you make a blanket law. The students then said that the law is going to affect. They were not even part of the debate that led to the production of the bill. Okay. Is that how democracy? Is that how policies are made in democratic government? Okay. In democracies, even in America, that we say we are practicing their system of democracy.
Okay, I'll come back to you.
They organize what we call a town hall meeting. You see president going to community, going to wards, going to counties, going to state to interact with the people on a policy that before the Congress. Okay. So that policy can be seen to be democratic and can be seen to be welfareistic.
And people oriented.
Yes, and people oriented.
Okay, thank you.
That is not the...
Thank you. I'll come back to you. Let's enjoy your articulation in this aspect of the loan facility given to Nigerian students.
You see, when I heard the announcement about loan facility, it was to me like a joke. Because I don't think the National Assembly, the 10th National Assembly had been constituted. And that bill was not passed into law before Buhari left. Now, you came and then suo motu, you know, by executive fiat, you said loan will be given to students. We should learn a lesson from what had just happened in the Supreme Court judgment in the US, where Biden unilaterally said that all loans to students were forgiven. And that amounted to $440 billion. You know, the Supreme Court gave judgment that, look, you cannot unilaterally say that you have forgiven the loans of all the students. Whether you had good intention or not. Go through the appropriate process. Go to the Congress, seek their approval. And what they said was that they had no authority to spend that money. We know election is coming, and he was trying to use it. People said he was trying to use it as an election, a carrot. And I think this is what politicians should be aware of, because the government still has some legitimacy problems. And maybe I can't tell, because only God knows the mind of a man, that you want to do this. But you see, we should not allow unconstitutional things, even if it's in the area of sentiment. Then my colleague mentioned something about a certain part of the country being targeted by one of the policies. You see, we should also learn from, because that same week, the Supreme Court gave 3 outstanding and astonishing judgments. Okay. That, look, you know, Harvard and the University of North Carolina, they were having this affirmative action in their admission, favoring certain black students, particularly the black community. Now, a time came that some other students took the issue up at the lower courts. They failed.
Against the practice?
Yes. Because this was what the practice was all about. And notably, some black scholars and prominent black people, you know, like Senator Scott and others, said that they saw this kind of thing coming. What was it all about? A black will have about 30% in the entrance exam. And Asian American will have maybe of Indian origin, Pakistani origin, or whatever, will have 70.
Wow.
He will be denied admission. The black person who got 30 will be taken. Will be taken admitted in Harvard, in North Carolina University. So
does such happen in a developed polity as that?
It was happening. But you see, the Democrats have been using it, affirmative action, you know, as a vote, you know, buying a taxi. But the other students said, no, we're all Americans.
They rose against your case.
They rose against, even when prominent black people were telling the university there's going to be a backlash on the black community as a result of this. Stop this affirmative action, because it's denying other people their rights. The universities did not hear till the Supreme Court now struck down that affirmative action. Because what people started questioning, there were some students that were in the university, Harvard.
Yeah.
A black scholar was saying, imagine a situation where some Harvard students were so rowdy, black students, that the police will have to be called in to arrest students in Harvard University. Either they were drunk and behaving anyhow, or they were fighting and molesting other students. He said these were people that had no business being in Harvard, but because of the affirmative action, it was accommodated. So I feel that no matter who is shortchanged, whether north, whether south, whether east, west, black, that, I mean, the person should be compensated. So I understand what my colleague is saying.
Okay, but you give your support to the policy.
No, I don't give my support to any discriminating policy against any Nigerian, whether north, south, Muslim, Christian.
So to you, the loan facility for students is a no?
So the loan facility to the students, you see, go through the proper channel, then I will know that you are serious. Because if it's challenged and it's struck down, what happens? You raise the hopes of many students, and then at the end it's dashed.
Some have said that this could be an opportunity for even a hike in the tuition fees.
Wait, why do you have to give me loan and then you increase my fees?
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make any sense. It's like pretending to give me something with one hand and you are taking it from the other hand. At the same strength, because why I said we should look at the first 1 month, the indicators are there. From them we can read the mind of the government, where it's going. You increase fuel. Because whether you call it removal of subsidy or not, as far as I'm concerned, it's increment of pump price. You increase fuel, you increase students' fees, and then electricity a tariff increment is hanging on our neck. Then you are telling me also too, this proof of ownership.
Yes, that's another 1,000.
That every year I have to pay. I buy a shirt. It is my own. I have the receipt. And then every year I have to keep producing proof of ownership. Doesn't make any sense.
Okay, I think there's a time where you can also pour your calls at us on the number 0807 77 70300. 0807 77 70300, and pour your calls at us. For our listeners on independent radio, you should ensure you are also civil in your presentation, as we said earlier, and also expect from our viewers on independent television. Now, let's take your response to that in respect of the loan facility. And of course, as we look forward to where some will say that the conventional practice of the president, giving an inaugural speech was breached by the President TINUBU by giving a policy statement. Now, do you see that as a way of not conforming to the wishes and, of course, the cry of Nigerians?
Of course, the actions, you record even immediately that statement was made across the nation. You know what happened? The high level of inflation was above 300%. Therefore, as a president, you have to be guided, because your word, people see president's word not just only as a policy, even as a law. Therefore, when you are coming on to make any statement, you must be properly guided. Considering a country of over 200 million people. Some writers, script writers, they wrote something for you, and you face the whole world, and you say, you just read it out without considering the impact. To me, I believe that, with due respect to the president and those who manage the presidency, I believe he was carried away with that office. He wants to test his own power, to let people know that I'm the president. That was absolutely, to me, was absolutely immaterial. Yes, you don't need to show that I am not the president at this level at time. This is an ambition.
Okay, I'll come back to you. We have a caller. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Tell us your name and where you're calling from, and make your contributions quickly.
I'm Osamoyi from Benin.
Good morning, Osamoyi. Go ahead.
Yeah, and thank you very much for
Please, can you reduce the audio level on your radio set or TV? We're having echoes at the background. Please, have you done that?
Hello?
Go ahead. Or move away from your radio set or your TV set. I'm still getting the echoes. I'm afraid we can. Before you call us, ensure you move away from your radio or TV set, or better still, switch them off so that we can have healthy communication, or turn down the audio level. We have another caller, and we expect that you must have done that. Good morning, caller.
Yeah, my name is Jamani. I'm calling from Edo State.
Okay, Jamani, go ahead with your contribution.
First of all, I want to thank your analysts in the studio. They've done a very wonderful job on this topic. First, I want to say that what Nigeria needs now from this current administration is they should rebuild trust. We have lost trust in our politicians and government entirely. They should try to rebuild trust and do things that will make it okay. These people, they are honest, they are genuinely interested in what will benefit us. What they are just doing now is just servicing themselves at the top, forgetting those at the bottom who have put them in office. Even though the outcome of the election is still being contested in court, that's an issue for that day. But they should try and build trust. Thank you very much.
Thank you for taking our time to be part of this. You spoke about building trust in governance. Over to you, Roy.
Of course, definitely the caller was right, because there's no trust. We don't even trust those who are presiding over us. And that's the reason why some of us are very skeptical about
You can't speak for everybody. You can't say that we don't trust.
You know,
you can only speak for yourself.
I am the voice of the common.
Maybe
for
a few.
I am the voice of the common, and I am aware that what the commoners are passing through in this country. Therefore, when I'm talking under that authority. You know, because it's the way and manner this government of Nigeria is going, they run it as if the country belongs to them alone. That we, the followers, have no stake in this our country. Before any policy from government, one would naturally expect there must be a stakeholders meeting where those policies will be further be galvanized.
Okay.
You know, so that interest of the people will also be there. You will know what you are facing. We just talk about the student. No. Why would the president? Why will he be in a hurry to be talking about the student? No. What's your business with student? No. You are coming on board. You saw a country that is at the verge of collapsing. There was nothing that was working. What you need to do is to quickly have to re-strategize, bring the country on board, let the people feel that sense of belonging.
Okay, but if you say you are the voice of the commoners, you understand that even the indigents are crying. You know, the indigents, there are a lot of people that even can't pay their way through school. A lot of people who even drop out from the tertiary institution as a result of not being able to pay. So are you saying that you are not representing the masses in this direction? The indigents that has to do with benefiting from this loan facility, you know, to go through school and pay after 2 years after they must have served, done their service, National Youth Service Corps, and 2 years after they can start making payment. Are you saying that is not a wonderful benefit that would help the indigent students?
It appears you are not getting the details of what it entails in that policy. You know, the way and manner he signed it, you know, these are things he never planned for it. It was a policy he met about, and he jumped into it. You understand? You are talking about, the commoners supposed to be celebrated. You go and look at the details and know what do we start to enjoy from it. Well, in a country where there are students, there's a projection that once you are graduating, this is where you are going. This is how the money will come. Is there a projection in this country? You expect me now to go and borrow money, take a student loan, and there is no projection for me? This you are saying, these are things that were copied from the Western world, even copied from America. But there's a projection. They know once a student, you are involved in a student loan, those who gave you that and those, they have a projection for you. That the way and method you are going to pay is very direct. In this part of the world, it's not there. Unemployment is also, unemployment is a problem in this country already. As we are talking now, there are many schools that are coming on every day in this country. What does the government supposed to do? If the government is thinking about the poor people, these are policies that are not supposed to be selective. It's selective. One, I cannot be talking for the commoners in the South to the detriment of the commoners in the North. The Northerners say this policy is anti-North. Why are you coming with this policy? Why we expect the government to say, okay, why is he even in a hurry? That is my issue. Why are you in a hurry? Is that the most issue that is troubling on in this country? There are issues that are bothering us in this country that need to. That need to immediately be fixed. The issue of welfare of the people.
Okay, thank you.
Security. Those are issues. Why we expect you to be bothered about that?
Let's quickly take this call, after which we join Neville Obakedo. Good morning, caller. Okay, tell us your name and where you're calling from, and quickly jump to make contributions. Please, the line is not clear. Hello, are you there? The name? Please, the line is not clear. It's breaking. The number to call is 0807 77 70300. Okay, we've got you. Good morning, caller. What's your name, please? Okay, go ahead with your contributions quickly. We can barely hear you. We can barely hear you. Please ensure you call us again, and let's get to hear you properly. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, caller. Hello, good morning.
Better. Good morning. What's your name?
Friday from Sloko.
Okay, Friday. Go ahead with your contributions quickly.
Yes, the student loan, I believe yes, nobody can access it because they said it's below any family, their earnings below 500,000 for a year. How can a family that receives less 20,000 each and send a child to school as it is in this country now? You understand? And there's still a sentence of 2 years imprisonment after failing to pay, and there's no job for the students after passing out from school. What I expect the government to do, you see what China is doing. That's why America is blaming them, they are spying them. It's not their military. They used to spy America, their manufacturing aspect. You have to send your best brain in school. Those people that have first class outside this country to go and spy and search for how they are producing these things we used to purchase from them. They bring them back for them to experiment here and plan it well in this country for we to be a producing country. That's what it's supposed to do. To select the best way out of the country to go and spy for us as China started. Not that consuming. Look at the loan. People are employing. The loan is a trap, as for me.
Thank you very much, Friday. Well, Friday outrightly said that the loan is a trap and it's not healthy for our economy. Okay, let's get your reactions over this as we look at the challenges where the inflation rate is 17 years high. It's about 24.4%. And even the World Bank has said that looking at this year, we're having a challenge where it is going to rise up to 30%. And issues about how to cushion the effect of the petrol subsidy removal, was also discussed, said by the World Bank, where it said that if adequate measures are not taken into consideration as we speak, that we could have a projection of about 7.1 million poor people immersed in deeper poverty. I want to take it from that end.
You see, sometimes when we are opportune to talk on television, including this your television station, and we try to extrapolate information from other countries that trotted on the path that Nigeria is treading now, and the eventual consequences and the gruesome macabre that followed this process. You will say, oh, you are trying to stir up the people.
Yes.
Insurrection.
If you go to Lebanon, before the Lebanese civil war, this was how people were mismanaging the economy. Leaders, they will come, they will plunder the state, they will go away. If you go to Burundi, even though we have ethnic crisis here, if you go to Rwanda, go and see the way the elite manipulated the population. And what were the consequences? Fratricida and genocidal civil war. Now, the leaders of this country they are seeing that the population of the youth is growing. No job.
Okay.
And no deliberate effort.
Okay, I'll come back to you. Let's quickly take our last caller for this moment. Good morning, caller. Good morning, caller. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
This is USA on the line, calling from St.
Welcome, USA. Go ahead with your contribution.
Yes, gentlemen, I want to thank all of you right there in the studio. Now, what I want you guys to understand is this. There is no good leader that would have started from the very dangerous angle our president started from. Nigerians are hungry. You've not addressed the issue of how to make food available. No lie. The insecurity here and there. Is this how you grow or make the nation okay? Now, when you hear of civilized war, go and check what the leadership does over there. There is no way you can make a country to be good and comfortable without doing which is right. First, you must love your country. Two, you must look at those challenges and how they can be resolved. So far, I have never seen any strategic or creative appointment by Mr. President. And when you have a situation like this, where people getting the illusion that everything is going to be okay. You had my brother again, the lawyer. He made a good point. You had the other political side. Even my brother is inspector. They have said it all. The way the man is going about the whole thing, he is happy that he's Mr. President. Not how to ensure the comfort of Nigerians is what guarantee. After that one is not been addressed. Issue of student loan, remove subsidy. No. Let us make the fact as it stands. One, let it come up with something new. We cannot keep on copying everything from a white man. We are busy making us a plan. Let us start utilizing. Let us talk of technology. Because with technology, we can build the greatness and change the portion of the country and by extension the whole world forever. Look at all of that things. How do we build our own project to guarantee security for Nigeria? Those cabals, who are they? Are you telling me Mr. President doesn't know the awesome power of Mr. President?
Thank you very much, USA.
Okay, brother.
Thank you for your articulation. We really respect that. Well, a lot has been said, but let's get your closing remarks on this, Nebel.
So we have a growing population of young people that are idle hands. And sometimes when you listen to Crime Watch, you even see some of the breaking news that you scroll on your television. You see crime. When you trace the perpetrator of the crime, they are young people. They don't have anything to do, and the devil is giving them assignment. And the government is pretending not to be aware that this crisis is brewing. Now, if you are talking about inflation, we have people who are economic experts who know that when you have a country is having inflation or recession, these are the processes to be followed. And then the country will follow them to be out of inflation and to be out of recession. What stopped the president from putting such people in positions now? Number one. What stopped the president? Number two, from ensuring that he has changed service chiefs, including the Inspector General of Police. He has changed them, even though they have not been confirmed, to make sure that they do the needful.
Thank you.
And then ensure that Nigeria, that the future of Nigeria is in the hands of a very few people.
Thank you.
He should recover it and let Nigeria be the destiny and the drivers of their own country.
Okay, thank you.
Without that, crises are looming ahead of this country. It may not be now, but it will definitely come if these things that are wrong with Nigeria are not addressed. I'm not a prophet of doom, but it's on the basis of science, on the basis of scientific study, of political systems, who fail to do the needful, especially the elite.
Okay.
When they feel that they can take people for
Thank
granted.
you.
Look
Thank
at
you,
what happened
Nebel.
with Sri Lanka the other day.
Thank you, Nebel.
How they went to presidential mansion and said the president and prime minister parking.
Okay, your closing remarks in 1 minute, Greg.
Mine is that any government in power, whether Tinubu or whoever, should please think of how to generate employment. Donald Trump wasn't emphasizing low. What he said, graduates, as you are hanging your graduation gown and hat, that a job will be waiting for you. That is what you elected me for. And you will get the job.
Okay.
And they had the lowest unemployment rate in 50 years.
Okay.
So trust was built.
All right. Thank you. Your closing remarks in 30 seconds.
It's very direct. The president must look at the direction. He made this country at a time, this is a critical time in the life of this country, when we expect him to serve as a panacea to the predicament that bedevils us, but he's not aiding it. That is our greatest fear. He must look at it because he's not new to the system. He belonged to the party who was in power. He was the national leader of the party. Now he's the president. I expect him to hit the ground running. He's supposed by now, let the issue of security need to be tackled. The basic things of life, food is not available for Nigeria. That is the first point president supposed to be looking into, not to come and aggravate the problem we are facing. Before he came, he was aware that there was no job, that people were suffering.
All right.
Why we expect him to think in that direction?
Okay.
But he quickly removed the subsidy so that people will continue to suffer.
Thank you, Neville. Thank you, of course, Roy. Thank you, Greg, for taking our time to be part of this.
Thank you for having me.
Well, a lot has been said. They say to whom much is given, much is expected. The president has done over a month in office, and we expect that he will thin out his policies, to the point where we can say that is deepening governance for the purpose of ameliorating the plight of Nigerians. This is where we call it a wrap. We do this same time next week. Big thanks to Friday, and of course USA and other callers that made it work today. We'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.